Spain is back in the Men's World Cup final for the first time since 2010. On July 14, 2026, the reigning European champions defeated France 2-0 at Dallas Stadium in Arlington, Texas, securing only the second World Cup final appearance in the history of Spain's men's team. Mikel Oyarzabal opened the scoring from the penalty spot. Pedro Porro added the second goal, and a French side featuring Kylian Mbappe and Ousmane Dembele could not find a way back. But the latest update leaves one major question unanswered. Spain knows when and where it will play for the trophy, but it does not yet know whether England or Argentina will be waiting on the other side. And before that opponent is decided, there is another question worth examining. How did a semifinal filled with attacking stars become such a controlled Spanish victory? For verified entertainment updates without the rumors, subscribe to Startline Entertainment. The setting carried the weight of a final before the final. France had reached the World Cup semifinals for a third consecutive tournament, following appearances in 2018 and 2022. Spain had not reached this stage since winning the competition in South Africa 16 years earlier. Recent history, however, had begun to tilt towards Spain, which defeated France in the Euro 2024 semifinal and again in a 9-goal Nations League semifinal in 2025. That recent record did not guarantee anything in Texas. France entered with Mbappe leading the line, Dembele operating around him, and a midfield built to disrupt Spain's possession. Spain countered with Rodri directing play, Dani Olmo and Fabian Ruiz moving between the lines, Lamine Yamal stretching the French defense, and Oyarzabal providing the central reference point. On paper, it was a meeting between two teams capable of controlling a match in very different ways. The opening exchanges reflected that balance. France attempted to pressure Spain before its passing rhythm could settle, while Spain looked for the spaces that appeared whenever the French midfield stepped forward. There was no immediate collapse and no early wave of Spanish chances. Reuters described the beginning as even, but the match changed when Spain found a route into the penalty area through Yamal. In the 22nd minute, Lucas Digne fouled Yamal inside the box. After the decision stood, Oyarzabal took responsibility from the penalty spot and converted to give Spain a 1-0 lead. It was the first major turn in the match, but the importance of the goal extended beyond the scoreboard. It gave Spain permission to slow the contest down and force France to chase the game. That is where the semifinal began moving away from France. Spain did not respond to the lead by playing at maximum speed. Instead, Luis de la Fuente's team relied on positional discipline, patient circulation, and short passing combinations to determine where the match would be played. France still had players capable of creating something individually, but its opportunities became less frequent and less connected. Spain's control was not simply about keeping the ball. The positioning behind the ball limited France's ability to launch clean transitions toward Mbappe. Dembele remained active, and France produced efforts later in the game, but the French attackers were often receiving possession with Spanish defenders already organized around them. Reuters reported that Spain controlled the tempo and restricted France's chances after the relatively even start. At halftime, the score remained 1-0. That margin kept France technically within one moment of changing the match, but the pattern was becoming increasingly clear. Spain was deciding when the tempo increased, when possession was recycled, and when its fullbacks could advance. France needed either a pressing turnover or a piece of individual brilliance to break that structure. Instead, the decisive second goal arrived from a player who was not the central figure in most pregame conversations. In the 58th minute, Pedro Porro combined with Dani Olmo in a quick 1-2 that opened a route through the French defense. Porro continued his run and finished past Mike Maignan to make it 2-0. The goal was a sharp illustration of Spain's broader performance: coordinated movement, precise timing, and a player attacking space after France's shape had been pulled out of position. The identity of the scorer mattered as well. This match had been framed around famous attackers, particularly the latest international meeting involving Yamal and Mbappe. Yet Spain's second goal came from its right back, created through a combination with a midfielder. That did not mean the star players were irrelevant. Yamal had already played a direct role in winning the penalty. It meant Spain's threat was not dependent on one player providing every decisive action. At 2-0, France's assignment became considerably more difficult. Didier Deschamps made changes, France pushed more players forward, and Dembélé tested Spain late. Fox's match record shows multiple French efforts in stoppage time, including shots involving Dembélé and Mbappé, but none changed the result. Spain protected its advantage through the final whistle and completed another clean sheet. The clean sheet continued one of the strongest themes of Spain's entire tournament. De La Fuente's team began with a scoreless draw against Cape Verde, then defeated Saudi Arabia 4-0 and Uruguay 1-0 to win its group. In the knockout rounds, Spain eliminated Austria 3-0, Portugal 1-0 and Belgium 2-1 before shutting out France. Across those 7 matches, Belgium remains the only opponent to have scored against Spain. That path also shows why the semifinal result should not be treated as an isolated surprise. Spain had already demonstrated that it could win in different ways. It controlled Austria comfortably, survived a narrow contest against Portugal, and needed a late Mikel Merino goal to get past Belgium. The team reached France after experiencing both dominant victories and tight knockout pressure. The France result added something new. Spain did not need a late rescue this time. It took the lead in the first half, added a second before the hour mark, and managed the remaining minutes against one of the most accomplished tournament teams of the modern era. For France, the defeat ends its attempt to reach a third consecutive World Cup final. The French team had progressed through the tournament with 6 victories, including a 2-0 quarterfinal win against Morocco. Its run had included another significant milestone for Mbappé, who entered the semifinal after reaching 20 World Cup goals. But against Spain, France's attacking reputation did not translate into a goal. The defeat also extends Spain's recent run of major victories in this rivalry. France defeated Spain in their only previous World Cup meeting, winning 3-1 in the 2006 round of 16. More recently, Spain won the Euro 2024 semifinal 2-1 and the 2025 Nations League semifinal 5-4. The 2026 result now gives Spain 3 consecutive competitive semifinal victories over France. Those 3 matches were very different. The Euro semifinal involved a Spanish comeback. The Nations League meeting became an open 9-goal contest. This World Cup semifinal was quieter and more controlled. That variety may be the most important part of Spain's current position. The team has shown that it can survive chaos, break through defensive resistance, and manage a lead without needing the same script every time. Spain's attention now moves to Sunday, July 19th. The final is scheduled for 3 p.m. Eastern at New York, New Jersey Stadium. Spain will face the winner of the England-Argentina semifinal, which is scheduled for Wednesday, July 15th at Atlanta Stadium. Until that match is complete, any claim about Spain's opponent or the tactical shape of the final would be premature. England and Argentina would present very different challenges. England reached the semifinal by defeating Norway in extra time, while Argentina advanced after an extra-time victory over Switzerland. Both have championship-level players and experience in high-pressure matches, but Spain's preparation cannot fully narrow until one of them advances. France, meanwhile, is not finished with the tournament. It will play in the third-place match on Saturday, July 18th at Miami Stadium against the loser of England versus Argentina. That game will determine whether France leaves the tournament with a place on the podium after falling 1 match short of the final. Here is the start line takeaway. What changed on July 14th was not simply that Spain won another knockout match. Spain crossed the line separating a promising tournament run from a historic one. For the first time in 16 years, its men's team will enter a World Cup match with the trophy available at the final whistle. The timing also matters because the Spanish side is now building success across multiple competitions. It won Euro 2024, defeated France again in the 2025 Nations League, and entered the semi-final on an extended unbeaten run in official matches. The public record supports describing Spain as consistent and difficult to beat. It does not yet support declaring the team champion. One final opponent and one final match remain. Viewers should also avoid reducing the semi-final to a personal victory for Yamal over Mbappé. Yamal's movement produced the penalty, but Spain's win came from its collective organization. Oyarzabal converted the opening chance. Porro and Olmo combined for the second, and the entire team maintained the structure that prevented France from mounting a comeback. What remains unclear is how Spain will respond if the final follows a different pattern. France allowed Spain to take control after falling behind. England or Argentina may choose a more cautious approach, concede possession intentionally, or attempt to target Spain in transition. That tactical question cannot be answered until the second semifinal produces an opponent. For now, the verified summary is straightforward. Spain defeated France 2-0 in Arlington. Oyarzabal scored a 22nd minute penalty after Dani fouled Yamal. Porro doubled the lead in the 58th minute after combining with Olmo. Spain reached its first Men's World Cup final since winning the tournament in 2010, while France moved into the third-place match. Spain's 16-year wait is over. Its opponent remains unknown, and that unanswered question now becomes the final open loop of this World Cup journey. Will the last challenge come from England, or will Spain have to defeat the defending champion Argentina to add a second star?